Hello and welcome back to the Weekly Cannon, home of the Premier League champions, champions of England. We're back. It's the first game of the season, and Uncle Mike has gone on international break duty already. So we've got long-time listener of the show, Finn. Finn, welcome back. How are we doing?
I'm good, Clayton. Thanks for having me. Ready for another good season, and yeah, pleasure to be on again.
Are we going back to back?
It's
Put you on the
looking
spot
good so
straight away.
far.
I mean, yeah, it's I mean, literally the other day, I was walking around. I had like a I was wearing an Arsenal top and some I forgot it was this week, so it was after the Coventry game, and like just
Yeah,
another guy walking past me in an Arsenal thing straight away, like, oh, we're going back to back, and it's like that is the general kind of like noise, and like I know a lot of the kind of narratives over the weekend, especially on social media, was like I think like not that anyone thought they would, but like as United lost, and then I didn't actually watch the City game, but like apparently I've heard mixed reviews to be fair, but like
mm,
winning in the last minute, Liverpool dropping points away at Newcastle, which again I
yeah.
feel like usually isn't the worst thing in the world, but there was this general feeling of like who is actually going to challenge Arsenal. I think given how we kind of started on Friday, and then there was Chelsea on Monday. So like, where are you at with it? Like, do you think we're going to run away with it? Do you think there's anyone that will kind of go the distance?
I mean, I was of the sort of assumption, I guess is a word for it, that at the end of last season, I really felt like we were going to push on. The handbrake was going to come off, and we were going to go and win this season by more points than we did last year. I mean, I was saying probably we should be looking to win by double figures this season. Everyone else that's an obvious challenger is in some sort of transition, new managers all over the gaff and lots of new players and stuff. And yeah, the first two games, obviously the Community Shield and the game on Friday, haven't really done much to dissuade me from that prediction. So yeah, I mean, I think we're primed and ready to go again, and hopefully go even bigger than last year, like with a handbrake off and less pressure. So yeah, I'm feeling really confident right now, as you can tell.
Yeah, no, good to hear. I guess the question to ask then is, yeah, because it's still early in the season, so I still feel like we can do this sort of stuff. Mike and I, in pre-season, were talking about like how many points we think we would get. I think we both said same as you. We both think we would win it by double points.
Yeah,
I'll, I'll come on to my opinion about that now. How many points do you think we will get? You've already said you think we'll kind of potentially win it by double points, but then do you think there's anyone else in the pack that you think is capable of like maybe 82 to 86 points?
I think we will get probably like low 90s.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
I'm the same.
bullish in terms of my prediction. In terms of other teams that can go to that sort of level, I don't think anyone's going to go to 90 plus other than us. I
Yeah,
think it's,
same.
I mean, I'm willing to say it's pretty much impossible for another team to do that. Whether or not we do it, it's a different question. But I would say, based on, I mean, we've not got much of a sample size, but based on the weekend, probably Chelsea, I guess, are the team that look the best of teams that could realistically challenge us. Obviously, they're playing one game a week. They've got no Europe, so they're in a similar position to Man United last season, who ended up putting together a decent season. Coming in the Champions League places, with the caveat that they were playing a Fulham team that I feel like a lot of people are tipping to maybe struggle this year,
Yeah,
and they did concede 2 goals in the game.
and they were getting run through a little bit as well. Like they were struggling
Yeah,
with
they
the
were.
kind
I
of
mean,
runners through
obviously
stuff.
that front three looked great on Monday night for them. But if they lose Enzo Fernandez, I think that would be a big loss for them, because at the moment they've got one of the better central midfields in the league. They'd still have Caicedo, but
Yeah,
I think they would need to make some big strides in defence to really go with us the whole way. City will always be in the conversation, because I don't think Maresca is going to change too much about the way they play and stuff. And the players are there. They're used to that system, and even though they've not won the league in the last 2 years, they've still got players there that have done it with them and have got a winning mentality and stuff. So they'll still be in and around the pack. Outside of that, I'd be surprised if anyone really made any run in. I mean, I think we all expected Liverpool to beat Newcastle before the game,
Did you
considering.
watch either of the Newcastle, Liverpool, or City games?
Yeah, I actually watched both of them, the full
What
games.
was it? Yeah, go on. I've not seen a thing, to be honest. I caught the goals in the Newcastle one. What was your kind of take on both City and Liverpool and what you saw?
City, I thought, played fairly well in the first half and could have had a couple of goals at least. I mean, Haaland missed,
I saw
I would say,
the
quite a.
chance he missed. It was an O'Reilly cross, right, or something like
Yeah,
that.
O'Reilly put it in from the left hand side, and Haaland missed what I would describe as quite a big chance.
I saw that.
If that goes in, and maybe another one goes in the first half, it's a completely different result in game. I saw quite a few people saying City didn't play well and stuff. I don't really agree with that. I think that they played reasonably well. I mean, they could have played better, of course, but yeah. And then Liverpool as well. I think we all expected Liverpool to win on Sunday due to the players that have left Newcastle and the situation at Newcastle. And granted, Newcastle did play well in the game, but Liverpool looks so fragile at the back. I mean, the fullback situation for them is dire.
Yeah.
And I mean, even Alisson doesn't look too steady in goal. So I think, but again, I think that's also Chelsea's issue. So can Liverpool
Yeah.
go with Chelsea? Possibly. But I'm not too worried about them either based on what I saw on Sunday. I mean, it's a small sample size, but yeah.
Yeah. I think my thing is I have got no issue with kind of like changing my mind week to week based on kind of what I see. So like I guess
Yeah.
where I'm at right now and what I've seen is so prior to Friday, I was very bullish on the train, same as you, of like, and I still am for what it's worth, but like very bullish on
Mm.
the train of like, I think we'll walk it. I think I think I felt it was like 90 points, but I wasn't sure if we'd win it by double digits because I was like, oh, surely someone else will get like 82 to 84 or something. But more like I'm with you, and I don't see anyone else capable of 90 points like us.
Yeah.
And prior to Friday, I think to be honest, I can't even remember what I felt. I remember being a bit dismissive of Chelsea.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I thought about City and Liverpool, to be honest. But like now, and again, not to be too reactive because it was Fulham, but like I do think there's an element of like I maybe hadn't properly considered the factors around Chelsea of like individually their players are actually like yeah, like you said, minus the keeper and the defense, like the rest of the team individually is actually pretty good and like the kind of one game a week and like I just think there will be very similar vibes of them to like our first title challenge, but like maybe not quite as good or as sustained as
I
us.
can see
Like
that. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, like where there'll be lots of vibes, but like they'll have a few cracks that show through and like
yeah.
defensively, I think yeah they'll fall short. But yeah, go on. What were you going to say on that?
I think sometimes you need to see. We can look at transfers during the summer and stuff, but sometimes you need to see the full 11 on the pitch to actually get
Yeah,
your eyes on and get a sense of how a team is going to fit together and work together in a cohesive sort of way. So, like Chelsea, I think we knew they signed Rodgers, which is obviously big signing player we were linked with, and in your head, you know Rodgers is a decent player, but when you see a player like him, for example, come in and play really well in the first game, then you do go, oh, these lot could be cooking something here for the season because it looks like they've started on a good footing, especially attacking wise. But yeah, as I say again, it's not particularly clear who's going to go with us, if anyone, at the moment. So I'm very open
yeah.
to it being a handful of teams.
Yeah, my prediction on Chelsea is like they will in the games they're expected to win, they will do it like in style and they'll play really
Mm.
nice football and it'll be really good. But like and I do think in some big games as well, they may surprise people and like actually shut out teams quite well because I think there is a thing of like when they maybe have less of the ball and are sitting back, it's in a back three, back five, whatever, it's probably a
Mm.
bit easier to kind of set up shop sort of thing. But I
Yeah,
do think there will be a period where they just shit the bed. Like there'll be a period of like 3, 4 games where it's like a draw, unexpectedly a loss here, there, like and all that. So I can see them doing consistently well up until like February, and then
yeah,
just having a patch where it falls apart. City is the one actually though, where I'm like, they're the one where despite what we saw in the Community Shield, despite them winning in the last minute on the weekend, with the addition of Enzo, like that midfield is not a joke. And like as long as you've got someone like a Haaland who's fit, you never know. I do think City are still our biggest threat, but that's the thing that I just think their squad building has been so sus in my opinion that again I think like the kind of 4 competitions, they used to be the masters of that. I think again, similar to what I said about Chelsea, I can see them kind of doing well up until like the time where well, obviously different to Chelsea because they're only in one competition, but I can see them doing well up until the competitions start coming in, and then I can see them slowly fading as well. I can see City hitting like 82 to 84 points sort of thing at a stretch, the 84, but like I think they'll fall off at some point as well. But obviously we have to, like, our squad is insane, but just have to kind of hope everyone actually stays fit for prolonged periods of time. But one thing you did say though was obviously with the transfer window, right? Like you kind of have all these names and stuff, but until you see 11 on the pitch, you don't really know.
Yeah,
do you want to get into it? Are we going to be seeing Alvarez on the pitch for us?
I think it's clear that Arteta like seems to really want to bring him in. Does he fill an obvious gap in our starting 11? Not really. I think we'd all agree that this Tzolis has done really well since he's come in, but I think we all agree that if we were looking at spending a lot of money on an attacker, it would be for a left winger.
Yeah.
Whether or not Mikel sees Alvarez as someone that can play minutes on the left, I don't know. That's not really something that I have in my head for something that he can do. But he knows a lot more than I do, so maybe that is the case. Do I think we'll sign him? Very skeptical, to be honest. I can't really see it. Although I'd be surprised if they didn't sign an attacker between now and the end of the window, because if you're selling Martinelli and Trossard, one replacement for them two is not really enough.
No, yeah. Where do you stand on the whole thing of like Barcelona's his dream, and also just like the price tag sort of thing? Like, do you have any? Yeah, where do you stand on those sort of stuff?
I don't really mind the fact that he wants to go to Barcelona, because teams sign players all the time where they've not joined their number one ideal target, and like if he can be convinced to come and you can add real quality to the squad, I think that's got to take precedent over the fact that the player wanted to join Barcelona. I can understand why he wants to go to Barcelona. Obviously, massive football club. He's already in Spain, speaks the language.
He's South American as well, right?
There. So I completely understand why he wants to go to Barcelona. So I can't really hold that against him.
Yeah, I think like similar to what you were saying, I think being South American, there's something culturally so similar to Spain and like their way of living and stuff. So yeah, I kind of get it as well. I think he's one where I fear this is just being an Arsenal fan, where like the likelihood of it happening is possibly convincing me to get on board with it. But like when I first heard like Alvarez for like whatever the fee was, I was like, oh, like I think he's good, but like I didn't personally think he was worth that amount of money. But then again, as I'm like thinking it through, and same as you, I didn't personally see him as anything other than a 9 for us. But like the more I'm kind of thinking it through, and like I'm definitely influenced by like stuff I'm reading online as well, I can kind of see the parallels to the kind of Aubameyang off the left type thing. And like you saw how like we'll get into the game, but like I can't even fucking pronounce this guy's name. Tzolis was like drifting inside quite a lot, and like I am wondering, is Arteta wanting that left wing to be more of a kind of close to goal, like killer finisher, which begs the thing about Martinelli, but like that's another thing we'll discuss in a sec. But so like I was thinking it from that perspective of, again, this isn't my own thought, like this is something I read elsewhere, but I kind of agreed with it, how Arteta loves people that can come in and do like 2-3 roles and play in different areas of the pitch. Like we've seen it with Rice, we've seen it with like obviously White, I'm going blank on others, but like there's many others, right? And like I do wonder if there's the element of that in attack, of like he can possibly be a kind of striker off the left.
I guess so, but I would sort of say that I think with the amount of players we've got for each position in the squad and stuff, I think we're kind of past that point where we need players that can play across multiple positions. I think we've got such a good backup in each position that it's not necessary for him to need to play left wing, striker, right wing, number 10, whatever. It's obviously helpful, of course.
Yeah.
But I think it's possibly slightly less of a concern than it would have been 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yeah. And like I agree. I think the only reason I was like, maybe that's why he's going that way is because like maybe it was a case of, I know we were looking at Rodgers, but like, I don't know how much they actually wanted him for what he ended up costing. Whereas like we all know Vinicius was the kind of number one choice, right? I think Barcola has been available, and for whatever reason we don't seem to want it.
Yeah.
So like I do wonder if there's an element of like just thinking differently about that kind of left wing spot. And again, I just keep drawing this parallel to like the Aubameyang off the left, like 20 goals sort of thing. And
no, I can see it, and obviously it's we've had it in seasons with Saka on the other side, right? Like it's the way football's gone, especially if you've got a striker like Havertz who drops in and links play really well. You know, wide players often do score more than central strikers now. So, I can definitely see some sort of logic there with it. I mean, although at the same time, Alvarez is not really someone that I'm sure he's got decent to good physical attributes, but he's not really someone that I picture like an Aubameyang who's like really fast in behind, which a lot of these guys normally are. You know, like your Salahs, Mane at Liverpool, for example, Sterling and Sane when they're at City and they're scoring loads of goals. They're usually real raw pace and just getting in behind. The striker drops and them two just go. Maybe Alvarez is capable of that, but he doesn't strike me. Doesn't seem to be his number one attribute to me.
Yeah, no. And as much as I say the thing about Aubameyang, I think it's more like, maybe that's a lazy comparison because I actually see it being more a left wing coming so much more centrally sort of thing, like the way we saw Tzolis on Friday. And like that's where I can visualize that. The only other thing as well is, like you said already, like Havertz, the way he facilitates things, I think would help. But like, I think there is a thing as well of like, it's just having another kind of total football 9 as well. Because I don't think Alvarez is being signed to be this kind of prolific 30 goal striker, right? If he plays down the middle. But I think it's more like, could he be like prime Gabby Jesus for us, but on another level with better players around him sort of thing. So like, that's my kind of line of thinking. But all that to say, I think I've convinced myself I want it to happen from a footballing perspective. I just can't quite work out my mind on the kind of Barcelona. Does he want us potentially being a cuck? Like I can't kind of work out. I can't work out my mind on that side of things. But just before we wrap up the transfer stuff and kind of get into the actual game from Friday, if he comes in, do you reckon Gyökeres goes, or do you think he's staying?
I'd be happy for Gyökeres to go if Alvarez came in, to be perfectly honest. And it like, if we can use Gyökeres as a make weight to bring the price down, all the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel very similar, to be honest. Obviously, if he ends up going, like, thank you very much for helping us win the league, because he obviously did play a part. But like, I think footballing wise, I mean, he does have his limitations in this side. And like, we'll see. Like, once the window's closed, right? Like, as long as he's an Arsenal player, I'll kind of back him, get on board. But like, I personally think I'm getting more on board with the idea of what Alvarez could bring to the forward group and stuff. And I think Gyökeres may go if that happens. Final one,
to be honest.
Final one on the transfers. I do think Gabby Martinelli is on his way out. That probably sounds like it's done now. How are you feeling about that?
I'm gutted, to be honest. I mean, look, at the end of the day, he never really kicked on output-wise from the 22-23 season when he had a great goal-scoring season. And at a certain point, the ice gets too thin with that sort of stuff. But great moments attached to Gabby over the years. Even so far back as, Chelsea away when he ran from the halfway line. And, that was a long time ago now, really. But all the way through to, goal against City in the last minute at home, goal at the Bernabeu. Great memories that I'll always remember for him. And I'm really glad he got his winner's medal because he was an instrumental part in the jump from 8th to 2nd to 1st over the years. So, yeah, I mean, I wish him all the best, and I hope he has a very successful career going forwards. Yeah, again, it was the same with Trossard, really. I was gutted on a personal level for both of them to leave, but I could see on pitch reasons why they did, and I'm not in any way really angry with the club about it. So, yeah, I'm in a pretty
Yeah,
good
no,
place with it.
I'm the same. It's I do feel like it's going to be a bit emotional when it happens though, because like you said, yeah, he kind of went from a boy to a man with us, right? And
Yeah.
still think about was his debut goal in the Europa when was it Tierney crossed it and he scored a header?
Yeah, great goal.
I feel
I
like
remember actually, just a quick tangent on him. Him playing in the Europa League that season through the middle, and I always
yeah.
thought this guy's going to be a central striker and he's going to score tons of goals. It never really happened, which is a shame because I always liked him in that role. But maybe he can rediscover that somewhere else. We'll see.
Yeah. The one thing I'm happy for him as well is like, yeah, go get that bag in Saudi. Just
Yeah.
like especially because where he came from, right? Like I'm pretty sure he came from like quite a poor background in Brazil and stuff. And
Yeah, I mean, we signed him
yeah,
from the 4th division, right? So
yeah. So like it's
real rags to riches stuff.
yeah, proper. And yeah, it is interesting because I remember his like, when we won the league, all the players did their kind of post with the pictures at
Yeah.
Selhurst Park. Like his one did feel like a goodbye to me at the time. So I don't know if it's something that was kind of planned anyway, but like I just wanted to ask one more question on him. Like, do you have any kind of thoughts on the kind of narrative doing the rounds on like how his situation's been handled, or like based on what Ian Wright said and stuff? Or
I think sometimes you've got to be cruel to be kind, right? If you've said, we don't know what conversations Mikel's had with Gabby, i.e., advising to get a new club and stuff. Maybe he was dragging his heels, and Mikel wanted to send him a message. At the end of the day, I feel like Mikel usually makes the right decision, and he's a good manager. So, I think Wrighty was being a bit harsh without knowing the full details. Maybe he knows more than he's letting on than he's not saying, but yeah, it felt a bit harsh to me, to be honest. It kind of felt like he was saying something to sort of fill time on his slot on Sky Sports News about Sky Sports live coverage of the game without being,
yeah, I'm a bit
overly
like that.
critical.
That sort of stuff, in my opinion, just keep it behind closed doors. Like, there's
Yeah, for
no
sure.
need to kind of create a fracture or anything. But
And I don't think it's the first time he's done that either.
yeah, I think he means well. It's just like fucking hell, like leave it out,
Yeah.
man. Because I think anyone outside of Arsenal who jumps on any opportunity, like any slight in where there's like a little bit of a fracture,
Yeah.
like I think people jump all over it. It's just like just don't give anyone an opportunity.
Exactly. Exactly that.
We've got Charles in. Hello, mates. Hope you're doing good. But yeah,
How's it
good
going?
timing. We've done all the transfer talk. We've done the who's going to challenge. Let's get on to the fun stuff. The actual game from Friday.
Yeah.
Before we get into the lineups, all of that stuff. How was it for you? Did you go to the Community Shield? Did you go to any of the Emirates Cup stuff? Was this your first game of the season? Or
I went to the friendly in Dublin at the Aviva
nice.
against Real Betis, which wasn't great on the pitch. But that part of pre-season just about getting minutes in the legs right. And at the end of the day, I go to most competitive games, so the result of a friendly doesn't really affect my life. It was a good trip. It's good to see a lot of people as well that don't get the chance to go very often because they live, in Ireland in this case and in Dublin, and kids really enjoying it, and it's nice. It's nice to see. So yeah, I went to that one. I went to the Community Shields. The M4 was an absolute nightmare, so I almost missed kickoff, but I got in, and good job I did get in because obviously the first goal was really, really quick. So yeah, I went to that one, and then I went on Friday. And
how was it being back? Yeah, I haven't been to any pre-season or Community Shield, so Friday was my first game, but I just fucking loved being back. Like just the vibes around. Like you spoke earlier about feeling like this season we'd come in and like the handbrake would be off, the pressure would be off. It almost feels like that with the fans. Like I feel like everyone was just having a jolly, and like I fucking loved it. Like kind of pre-game and like this is so wet to say, but like I obviously was in Canada for a large part of last season, right? And like, I came back for like the end of the season and then ended up staying. But I obviously missed like so much. Well,
Yeah,
Arsenal's a huge part of my life, so I missed it so much. And like Friday, man, like in the concourse before the game, like when the songs were doing the rounds, like my fucking lip was quivering, man. Like I could feel myself like I don't know why, but it got to me. I was like, oh shit, like we
I think it's
again.
obviously I kind of had this. I was thinking this on Friday myself. Obviously for me, like I was up there by the ground the night we won the league. I went to Palace away when we lifted the trophy. I then went to Budapest. I then went to the parade. I went to the Community Shield. I went to a pre-season friendly. I've had lots of chance to interact with this league title that we won last season, like in person. Whereas I
Yeah,
feel like there's quite a few people that were at the game on Friday where it was the first time they were interacting with the team and the club and the whole area since we won the league. And, it was great when I went into my seat with, the people that sit around me, I don't see them the rest of the time, but they've been around me for years and we all sort of know each other through that. And, we're all going up to each other and like, I kind of forgot that it would be like this, but like, we're going, we did it. Like really. And it was like reliving it again, which is great for me. I really enjoyed that bit.
yeah. No, this is where I'm like, I don't know what it was about Friday because like I was similar but different to you, obviously. Like, so I flew back from Canada for the Burnley home game, and so I was at that game, and then um, yeah, same as you, was in a pub. I think it was the World's End I went to
Mm.
the night of the Bournemouth City game. So I was like at the Emirates for that. That was actually my birthday as well, which was like unreal. So like was there for that. Same as you, went to Budapest for the Champions League final, came back for the parade. So like I kind of the only thing I didn't go to the Palace game, but like even that I
Yeah.
watched it. Obviously, I was in London,
Yeah, of
but like
course.
so I kind of experienced it all in person. But I think there was an element of like I don't know if it was maybe because I was still thinking about the Champions League final or what, or I was in and out of countries. But like I feel like Friday hit me as like I
Yeah.
don't know, like I've kind maybe I just hadn't processed it, and like I also had a lot of like personal shit going on as well. And I think Friday was just like a fucking
No,
it
it's
felt like a
understandable.
release sort of thing. Yeah.
I mean, these
Um,
these these things don't you never process these massive moments in the way that you picture that you're going to.
Yeah, but
So
yeah, it just
you'll always be
fuck off.
surprised how when things come through and stuff. So like I'm not surprised. I mean, I kind of felt like that as well. I was really sort of it just brought it all back really. But it's like some of the best days, of my life, really, that we had in May. So like to be able to relive them in any way, shape, or form is just always very welcome.
Yeah, and I think that is until we shit the bed. I think that's going to be the theme of this season. I think the fans are going to enjoy it. I think there's this level of like confidence, and I'd say healthy arrogance of like, no, we are the business, we are the
Yeah.
dogs. Like, and I think that translates to the fans and the crowd, to be honest. But yeah, going into the actual game, like the lineup dropped. Was there any surprises for you on that one?
I
As a
wouldn't say
reminder,
so.
because
I wouldn't. I wouldn't say so. I would say it was the 1-11. I mean, I'd heard rumors that Bruno Guimaraes was gonna miss the
that started
game.
to come through like the hour before the team came out and stuff, right? I
Yeah,
think.
so I wasn't too shocked 'cause I'd already heard a sort of I already had an inkling that he was going to miss out. So considering that, I mean, I probably could have named you the 11 that got sort of played from the start. So yeah, no surprises on that front. And it was kind of obvious in the Community Shield and other friendlies who was going to start on Friday, in my opinion. So yeah, it
Yeah,
was
no,
it was
I was the same. I think the only thing that I've like kind of learnt my lesson on now is I still, for whatever reason, had this idea that like Arteta would have preferred players for certain games, like a
yeah.
Coventry at home, and preferred players for a game like a Villa away, although maybe not based on how they were this weekend. Whereas like so someone like Gyökeres, like we'll talk about him at some point, but like I was so surprised he didn't get a single minute.
Yeah.
But like he's the sort of player I'm kind of thinking like if you don't start him Coventry at home, like when are you going to sort of thing? Even though
Yeah, I
I
completely
understand,
agree. I know what you mean about the assumption on certain players are going to start certain games. Like obviously, Gyökeres and Havertz is a great example. Like you would have, this time last season, I know it was the second game, but it was the first home game. We had Leeds at home. We all sort of knew that Gyökeres was going to start the game. And I think if we'd had Coventry this time last year, same thing, Gyökeres would have started. But I think that says a lot about the pecking order of the strikers. I don't think Mikel is really looking at Gyökeres too much in general. I can't see him starting many games if he even stays. So
yeah, same. I think I can only see him starting like the odd cup game, be it Carabao, FA, Champions League, depending on like the rotation, especially Champions League, depending on like how the fixtures fall around the league, or if someone's injured. Like I can't see it, to be honest. But there were so many individual performances, but like I think the best way to do it was just for goal by goal and then kind of see at the end and discuss the subs if anyone we missed. But before the first goal, what was your kind of feeling first 15 minutes, how we kind of started?
I felt like we were, I could see how Coventry had set up. And like, to be fair to them, and I said this after the game, they sat relatively deep, but I've seen teams sit a lot deeper at ours. And I felt like there was an intention from them to try and play some football to a certain extent. So I've got to commend them for that. But yeah, I thought we started in a decent rhythm. But obviously a lot of these home games when you're playing against a team that's a lower down team that can sit quite deep at times, become long drawn out affairs. So you always want to get that first goal as quickly as possible. Someone asked me outside before the game, what do you think the score's going to be? And I said, well, I think we'll win 3-0, but I think it'll be 0-0 at half time. And that's often the way it goes. But yeah, it was good to get that goal early because I think we played well before it. And it was deserved. But yeah, it's always nice to get it as early as possible. So I thought we played pretty well before the goal. But
yeah, and I think that's the thing that like the intent definitely does feel different. Like even in the Community Shield, you could just see there was a thing of like trying to go forward. Even little things like I can't remember if it was. I feel like it was maybe the second half kickoff. I may have got this wrong. There was a kickoff where like even that we passed the ball to start. And I just immediately went forward. And I feel like that's something we usually don't do. We would like usually go back to the keeper or back to the centre backs. But anyway, just kind of seeing that in the first 15 minutes, the intent was definitely there. And I think even you could see the way like Tzolis, I have to be totally honest, by the way. Prior to going live, I did actually have to ask Finn to remind me on the goals. Because Friday feels so long ago that I was having a bit of a mind blank. But I remember it now. And like Tzolis kind of closing down, winning the ball. And I think even that, it was the thing from Calafiori to just like on the half turn, take it in, one pass in, Havertz first touch, shot, goal. Like the intent is just direct, minimal touches compared to last year. I felt like we took like 4 touches too many in lots of different actions.
Definitely.
And I don't know about you, but like, once the first goal goes in, I'm like, okay, this is going to be fine. Is that kind of how you were feeling?
I'd say so. Coventry hadn't really shown they had a couple of decent breaks, especially down their right hand side, sort of early on. But they hadn't shown really the quality in the final thirds to worry me unduly once we'd gone 1-0 up. I really don't think they were terrible. I think they played reasonably well compared to what I'd expect for a team that's just come up. And we just look so good that the Coventry defenders are in their shape and they're watching our rotations and how players are moving and our passing structures and everything. And it's like they must be stood there thinking, what the hell is this? Like, this is a different sport to what we were playing last season. Considering that, they actually played pretty well, Coventry, but they never really worried me in the game.
Yeah, no, I saw someone tweet that a Coventry player is going to be on a podcast in like 5 years talking about how mad that game at the Emirates was. Like, was it Ole Einar that was talking about us, like in that context of like the rotations and how hard it was? But we kind of said it already, right? But like you saw Tzolis like on the inside left, he was on the right at some points, like Calafiori just doing his thing, just going wherever he wants. And like there were like the odd moments where Coventry didn't really do anything with it, but they did kind of break into space kind of fast and with numbers. And I actually thought he got a bit of a bad rep, but I actually thought that Sims guy, like his hold up, I actually thought was quite impressive in my opinion. I thought he gave Gabriel a good challenge.
Yeah, he did.
And
I thought again. I think they all. If I was a Coventry fan, I mean, and I can't profess to have watched them every week last year, but like I'm sure like most of them would be saying quite a few of their individuals probably put in like a 6 or 7 out of 10 at least compared to what they'd expect in the game. I don't think they played badly, and as you say, they were causing some issues at some point. You know, they've had some physical players. Sims is quite a physical player, and it's never the easiest to go up against that. But you know, if Gabriel gets in the right mood, then he sort of relishes that challenge. So might actually be a good thing for us in a way.
yeah, I actually thought Gabriel looked a little bit rusty in my opinion. Like some of his kind of passing, and I don't know, like nothing concerning, but like
No,
just if I'm ranking like our kind of top 6, 7 players from the game, I wouldn't put him kind of there.
no, I'd
But
probably
like,
agree with that. I mean, I do feel like Gabriel, he's improved his distribution from the back over the years, but he's still not at an elite level with it. And I don't think you don't ideally want him to be the centre back that's tasked with that, like on a long term basis. The odd game's probably fine, but like his distribution definitely suffers when the limelight's thrust upon him to be the main sort of guy of the two at the back that are doing it. And he always looks a bit ropey in that sense without Saliba. But yeah, nothing that worried me like massively. And obviously,
yeah,
Conser
no,
coming in is going to probably help that. So
yeah, I'm intrigued on your thoughts on that later. When we,
yeah,
I know obviously it's days away, but we'll touch on Villa very briefly. And yeah, Charles, just seen your comment. We'll cover that at the end, mate. But yeah, we're 1-0 cruising, and yeah, then the second one comes in, right? It's Tzolis off the. How do you pronounce it? Do you say Tzolis or Solis? Or
I've been
my
saying
mate calls him
I've been
Salise.
saying Tzolis. Like
Solis.
yeah, I don't know if that's correct or not. I mean, if anyone's Greek and they're watching, they can feel free to correct my pronunciation.
I
But
actually
yeah,
made friends with a Greek Arsenal fan when I was living in Canada. I met him at the
oh nice.
supporters, but I should actually message him and ask him.
Yeah, it's a good
Um,
idea.
but yeah, that goal, he obviously gets the ball. I can't remember what happened prior to him getting the ball, but obviously he's the one that kind of put in the cross, keeper parries it, and Saka's just got a tap in, right? And yeah, nothing really to write home about it, but it was just good to see him kind of him being Solis directly involved in the first 2 goals. One with
Yeah,
the kind of
absolutely.
fantasy assist. First goal, obviously, he's the one that won the ball back, and he's just. I mean, yeah. Do you want to use this? I know we're about to talk about Saka's goal, but do you want to use this moment to talk about your first impressions of the Greek winger?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think he looks like a fantastic Trossard replacement, and I don't like throwing players under the bus on here, but like there's a sentence that I said in the pub after the game, and it was that Solis to me is the opposite of Madueke, and that is a big compliment to Solis. Like
Yeah,
Solis, mate, he gets the ball and he makes the right decision. If the pass is on, he passes. If the cross is on, he crosses. If the shot's on, he shoots, and he doesn't try to take the ball and dribble it past 3 players when it's not necessary. He seems very efficient to me so far, which I always felt like. And obviously, Leo had the dribbling in his locker, so I didn't mind him doing it too much. But I felt like Leo was quite efficient with his touches and stuff, which is a good, you know, I think he's a good replacement for Leo there. And yeah, he
yeah,
just looks great so far. I mean, he looks very direct, which I like. As I say, he's not afraid to have a shot when it's obviously on, but he's not wasting his time with pot shots and things that are never going to go in, which again I see as a big positive. And it just looks really good so far. I mean, obviously it's early days. Let's see how he gets on for a full tough schedule that we've got. But yeah, he's definitely going to have a big part to play in the squad, and I think that's a large part of the reason that the rumours about a left winger have died down. I think they've signed Tzolis. He's come into training and they've gone, wow, you know, we thought it was good because we signed him, but this guy might be at a much higher level than we previously thought he was going to be. So
yeah. And there's have you got him in your FPL team?
yeah, I do.
Yeah, same. Yeah, because I think it's one of them. Like his numbers, despite the league he was in, were no joke, right? And like you can kind of immediately see it in the red and white. Like you said,
Yeah.
he's just so efficient and direct, and just I think he's going to be really helpful and really good for us. Like you said, I am curious on like when the kind of schedule heats up, what that would be like, and it'll be interesting. Again, I'll bring this up in a second based on like the subs, but curious on if we don't sign a left winger, is it just going to be kind of Eze out there every now and then to complement or instead of Tzolis? So
I
we'll kind
think
of
it's
touch on that in go on.
I think it's interesting what you said earlier about Alvarez. I mean, the role you described to me on the left was basically the role that Eze played at Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
So
true.
if that is the role that we've got, then there should be a big space for Eze this season to kick on, hopefully.
You'd hope so. Yeah.
I mean, that's not me sitting here and saying that we shouldn't sign another left winger, because I think we should. But yeah, at least it's
Yeah.
good to have the option at least.
Yeah, and Charles makes a great point. He says, we look good primarily because our left side is functioning again with Solis and Calafiori chemistry, not just right side focus now,
Yeah.
ain't we? Shows what balance does to team play. Yeah, spot on. And he does say it's pronounced as Zulis. At least he
Tzolis,
heard.
nice.
Oh, is it Zorlis or Zulis? I don't know. Yeah, I'll continue butchering it today and then actually listen to the interview so I get it right going forward. But yeah, I agree on what Charles says about the balance and stuff. I think we've been so right hand biased for so
Yeah.
long, and like it was nice seeing the kind of throwback of White, Odegaard, and Saka. What was the? I read something or heard something about like the amount of times they played together in the last few years, and it was like, was it the last few years or just last season? I can't remember. But it was like barely anything, and like
Yeah.
I guess that kind of brings us on quite nicely to the third goal. To be fair. Like I don't know why, just dead white on the overlap just like cracks me up, and like it was actually becoming it was becoming like a running joke with the guy next to me. Like, so
Yeah.
White's on the overlap. Oh, there he's gone, and it's like it is literally like he kind of tilts his head back, chest is out, and he's just gone. And it's like, he is literally like a roadrunner. But that
Yeah.
was encouraging because I think towards the end of last season and definitely in this summer, I think there was a lot of talk about him going. Is he physically
Yeah.
still at it? And like, I wish I saw a stat on how many repeat overlaps he did, because like, I feel like he did a lot in that game, and it obviously contributed to the third and final
Yeah.
goal, right? White on the overlap, cuts it back. Odegaard hits it as cleanly as he can, and top in. Yeah, I think that's probably a good opportunity to just talk about like both of them. To be fair, White
Yeah.
and Odegaard, because Odegaard Community Shield, well, World Cup, Community Shield, and Friday, he's just fucking. I felt confident it was going to be a big season for him, but I am very, very encouraged by like how he started the season as well. What are you thinking there?
I mean, I spent a large part of last season defending Odegaard in sort of debates about who should play in sort of number 10 role, because I know the capability of him at the top end when he's on his game is just, in my opinion, far higher than, say, Eze, for example, who's there as well, far higher than anyone else in the squad that could realistically play in that position. So I was always in favour of making sure we gave him his time to get back to full fitness and get back in his rhythm. And yeah, it's looking good so far. It looks like he might be back to his best, or getting near to be back to his best. Hopefully he is, because he's an absolutely fantastic player when he does do that. So yeah, happy days as far as I'm concerned, and always good to have your captain in good form and a big voice in the dressing room as well. So that's also very helpful.
Yeah, and I think I was definitely guilty of it for what it's worth at points last season. But the things I was frustrated with was I'm not a big fan of extra touches of the football for the sake of it. That's just like a personal thing of mine, and like I felt like there were periods last season where he was doing that a lot.
Oh
And
yeah,
like
definitely.
I was never in the thing of like get rid of him, like change
Yeah.
captain. It was literally just frustration and kind of what I was watching and
Yeah.
feeling like things could be better. But like the one thing I didn't kind of give him credit for, or like I didn't consider, which he's come out and said in interviews, right? Like it was a challenging year for him. Like he kind of had his personal stuff going on. He had his injuries and stuff. And like I remember when like even when I was coming back from injuries, and like I am not a Martin Odegaard,
No.
but I am a midfielder, and like all of my coaches have always said when you're coming back from injury, take as many touches on the ball as you can,
Yeah,
like kind of build your kind of confidence. And I don't know why, I just never really like acknowledged that when I
put
was
the
kind
two and
of
two together. Yeah,
when I was kind of criticizing him and stuff. So I think that makes so much sense in hindsight, and I think he's clearly in a rhythm and a moment where he's feeling physically, mentally strong, fit,
yeah,
rested. And I
and
think with
also,
yeah,
you know, going to your first World Cup can do wonders for a player as well. I mean, like it's just a great moment for him having that league title as captain. Then you go to the World Cup with your country. Maybe I mean, Norway have got a good team now, but a country in which you could very easily go your whole career without going to a World Cup. So it's just in such an amazing football moment that it seems to be rubbing off on the pitch, which is very helpful for us.
yeah, for sure. Because I think he's someone that like when he flows, he flows. Like
Yeah,
it is like just a joy to watch, right? And yeah, I think we're in yeah, I think if he can stay fit, yeah, big things for him incoming, especially with like how again one of my biggest frustrations last year was I kept saying stuff like he was playing like outside of the box too much. So like
yeah,
there'll be like two banks of four, and ideally you want him in between them, right? And I feel like he was just kind of playing outside of it, and like maybe it was the confidence thing to kind of see the pictures, get on it. Whereas like now it feels like he is arriving in the box a little bit more. He is getting in
yeah.
between. He's playing those threaded balls, and like I do wonder if like output wise that will go up for him this year as well. You're like, what was that? There was
Hopefully.
that season right where he scored. Was it like 15 goals or something?
Yeah, it's the
Or
same season Martinelli scored 15 goals. So just getting so many goals from like that sort of area, be
yeah,
it wingers or obviously Martin in the 8/10 role. But yeah, I feel like maybe there's a little bit of a disconnect between that season's kind of set us up for a failure in terms of how we see him, and I don't think he sees himself as a 10 in the way that maybe we do, especially based on that season. I don't think Mikel really sees him as that either.
no,
And
I
you
agree.
saw games last season where he came on. I mean, Newcastle away springs to mind, right? He came on deep and he
Oh,
and he
won it for us.
changed the game. So I think he is more of a sort of
He's a controlling midfielder,
yeah. I
right?
mean,
Like, yeah,
he's more sort of an 8, I think,
Bernardo.
than a 10 that sort of arrives into the box over and over again and scores a load of goals. I mean, hopefully he can add that string back to his bow a little bit, but there's a ratio, right? Like you don't want to take too much away from him sitting a bit deeper and controlling tempo and playing lovely through balls through and stuff. So how much do you give up for a few more goals? If he can create a situation in which we score, not even him himself, but like if his input can create a situation from which we score, say, 20 goals for being slightly deeper, it might be worth giving up him scoring 5 goals individually because as a team, we'd score a lot more goals.
Yeah, and this is what I'm curious on how, like, what impact is Bruno playing going to have on him as well? Because like Bruno can do, I know in a different style, but Bruno's like passing is just absolutely ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And like, I am curious on like what impact that will have on Odegaard and stuff. But yeah, I guess that kind of brings us on nicely. To be fair to flexing the squad depth and talking about some of them because yeah, if you're a Coventry fan, 3-0 down at the Premier League champions, and then you see Rice and Saka come off, Zubamendi and Madueke come on. Like, well,
Yeah.
one of them World Cup winner there. The other, like, nothing to write home about, but it's still it's the ability to rest Saka, right? So I was happy
Yeah,
with that.
they're still, they're still like 50 million plus pound players, right? Both of them.
Yeah, so like Rice and Saka, I was really happy we were able to take them off,
Yeah.
rest them a little bit. Yeah, that's what I was so annoyed about the Bruno injury because I personally didn't want Rice to actually start this game, but
No,
as soon as
neither.
Bruno was
I would
confirmed
say
out,
one thing on that. I'm glad they came off, but I was surprised they didn't come off earlier. And I feel like we were all sort of saying that in the ground. Far be it from me to tell Mikel what to do, but you could have even been looking at bringing them both off at half time.
I I'm with you and not with you. Like I personally wasn't on it the halftime thing. Just like I thought once it went 3-0, I'm like, okay, that's
Yeah,
like do
yeah,
it
yeah.
now. Um yeah, so I don't know why he waited that long. And like who knows, it may be part of kind of what he wants, right? He maybe actually has a program where like they need to play a certain amount of minutes to build them up to get to 90. And who knows, maybe it was like
Yeah,
65
possible. Very
is the
possible,
kind of
yeah.
who knows? But yeah, they were the two subs, and then the final three was yeah, Tzolis, Odegaard went off for Eze, Marino, and then a few minutes later, Hincapié came on for Calafiori. But yeah, how is that? Like Zubamendi, Madueke, Eze, Marino, Hincapié coming on. He had Waneri on the bench who didn't get on. Bauman, Gyökeres we spoke about. Like it's just absolutely insane. And
I mean,
yeah, I
these are all
mean,
starting players for the majority of teams in the league. So,
yeah. Did you have any kind of strong opinions based on any cameos or?
not so much. I mean, I think everyone came on and played all right. You know, I think Madueke actually looked fairly threatening when he came on, and I
Other than
saw,
the one where he put in that cross run.
yeah. I think if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I saw a stat that said on Twitter that he created like 4 chances when he came on,
Oh
etc.,
wow.
etc., which is pretty good going. Obviously, again, end product, and he's never going to change. But
I
yeah, the
still have
rest
an
of the
unpopular opinion
subs
on him.
didn't really make too much of an impression on me from what I can remember of the game.
Yeah.
Marino obviously worked hard as he always does when he comes on, very industrious performance. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
they're just nice backups, and none of the drop offs are massive compared to the players that are coming off, which is good.
yeah, I same as you to be honest. I think also like at 3-0 up, they're probably not set up to be able to fully demonstrate what
No,
they're
exactly.
doing, right? I think it's a different case. If we're like 2-0 down and they come on, then you probably see different side of things. But I did think
Yeah,
the Marino Havertz kind of duo up top looked quite cool in moments.
yeah.
Well,
That's a duo that I'd be very interested to see more of, because they can just both go like that and just go past
yeah,
each other and just pull defenders out all game. So there's definitely something in that. And you know, 2 of my favourite attacking players at the club, really. So yeah, I'd be very happy to see that on a regular basis.
yeah, and I think the other one I was actually surprised on that he came off so late was Calafiori. I thought he was someone that would maybe come off earlier for Hincapié, just because I felt like there were a couple moments where the game definitely started to get, while not threatening to us, just a little bit more open. And do you remember years ago we used to do the was it Zinchenko would come off and like Tomiyasu would go left back
Yeah,
or something? I can almost
I
see.
feel like they started Coventry started to threaten more when Awaniyi came on,
Yeah,
which is not a
agree.
surprise because he's a player that's done well against us before, and he's a big physical presence, and with fresh legs as well. It makes sense, but yeah, they kind of got more threatening when he came on. I assume he's going to go into the team for them soon, but obviously he just joined from transfer. So
Yeah, but yeah. Other than that, I think it literally 5 stars, right? Like comfortable win, good football, never really in doubt or danger.
yeah,
Used
I'd
all
agree.
5 subs. Like I think it was literally the perfect start. To be honest, there's one player who like didn't naturally come up as we were. Well, there's two actually. One I will save for later. You'll see why. But
Yeah,
the one that didn't naturally come up that I think should to get his flowers is Lewis Skelly because
unbelievable.
yeah, like I've been banging this drum. Like he is not a 6 for me. He is an 8. Like I think he is so good at like yeah, just give him the ball and the ability to kind of drop the shoulder, dribble,
Yeah,
like how Wilshere was given that license. Like a 6 needs to be like you speak about the efficiency of like a Zolis sort of thing.
yeah,
A 6 has to be efficient with the ball, right? It's like 2 touches max, ideally.
yeah,
Like that's not Lewis Skelly. You want him to have touches on the ball. You want him to
yeah, for
dribble.
sure.
You want like yeah, and
Because he's got
yeah,
that
there was one.
dynamism. That's exactly what
Yeah,
Jack Wilshere had, for example. Just the
yeah, there
ability
was.
to drop the shoulder and then make that quick run with the ball, and the game opens up for you. So yeah, you don't want to limit him by having 2 guys stationed right in front of him if you can. But I think he played really, really well
Same.
on Friday, and he kind of ran the show at times, and he was even looked comfortable when he was dropping in between the centre backs and
Yep.
receiving the ball, which is a good sign. He can clearly do it. So yeah, hopefully we see a lot more of that this season.
Yeah, and that's what I think. I think Mikel has handled him perfectly, in my opinion. Sure, were there periods last season he could have come in earlier, maybe, but like when he did came in, like I think was it the Fulham game or Atletico? It was around then, right? And like
Mm.
he just kind of he hit the ground running in that position. And I
Yeah,
think
definitely.
especially with Bruno being out
Yeah.
for what is that? Is that 4 to 6 weeks or something? Or
I'm not too sure actually. I'm not too sure on that one, but yeah,
yeah, no, I'm not
it's
sure. But
good to
like
have him
especially what
there for that because
yeah.
Zubimendi is there as well, but I don't think Zubimendi is he's a very good player, but he doesn't have that like wow factor for me when he's on the ball and stuff that like a Lewis Skelly has, and hopefully Bruno Guimaraes is going to have.
Yeah, exactly. I can see Zubimendi coming on in a lot of games to just kind of kill it with volume passing and stuff. But
Yeah,
I
like
think
a
especially
Norgard on steroids role from last season.
yeah, I think especially while Bruno's out, it'll
Yeah,
be Rice and Lewis Skelly in my opinion. And like that is a pair that excites me so much. I
yeah, for
don't
sure.
personally see Zubimendi actually starting any games in the next few while Bruno's
No,
out. I
neither.
think it yeah. But yeah, did you feel other than that game, is there anything you think I've missed, or are you happy to turn attention to? I get it's like literally days away, but I'm not going to be able to do another pod
Yeah,
before the Villa game. So like, I just want like I've got a couple questions. Like we're not going to do like War and Peace on it, but is there
yeah.
anything else you wanted to kind of touch on from the Coventry game or anything?
No, I just thought it was really good performance and just really professional sort of job, and yeah, just tracking in the right direction. Individuals, as I say, we covered look great, and I just thought, like as you said before, just the energy and I thought the atmosphere was really good. Actually, I think the one annoying thing is obviously I felt like the ground emptied out quite a lot towards the end,
Yeah,
which
that pissed me off.
it's one of those things where it annoys me, but I understand like Victoria Line was up the spout. There's things with the Piccadilly line,
Oh,
and
mate,
people have got
it,
trains to catch and stuff. So
did you get the Victoria line?
I actually didn't. I actually went up to Waterloo
Mate,
and got the
you're
changed
you're gonna
onto
hate.
the Piccadilly line because I wanted to avoid the Victoria line because apparently
Would
it sounded really bad.
would you usually get the Victoria line?
Usually, yeah,
Okay, you're gonna hate me. I got the Victoria line because I couldn't be fucked. Like my route is basically I get the overground to
yeah,
Tottenham Hale, Finsbury Park, and I'm like I just couldn't be fucked to figure out another route, so I just left early. Thought like let me just wait.
yeah.
I got onto the platform at Tottenham Hale, got on a tube in about 30 seconds, and same thing coming over. Like
I think the issue for
honestly,
me was like it said that the fault was at Vauxhall, which is a station I get on at. So I thought
okay,
it's a particularly big risk for me to try and get on at Vauxhall. So yeah, but
yeah,
it
no,
worked
because
out fine. I mean, I made it with plenty of time in the end.
yeah, because even that, I like when I got on the platform, I just looked at the board because like when I heard about the severe delays, I thought it would be like trains every 20 minutes, and like
Yeah,
it was like there were trains every 3 minutes. And I was like, what is the fuck? Like,
I mean
yeah,
that's bad for the Victoria line,
it
to
is
be
to be
honest.
fair, but like given what I thought it would be based on the scaremongering going on, I was like, oh
Yeah,
bloody hell, I'll take that. But
I know. Even the club even tweeted like
they even tweeted. That's why I got scared. I was like, oh, I was
that
like,
that shit me up. That's why I ended up swerving it. But
amongst that and like this just the usual shit show with like Arsenal and tech and digital wallets, I was like very nervous about like, am I going to get there on time sort of thing.
I was as well.
Uh,
I mean, yeah, as you say, like there's always some sort of problem with the tech and the issue at the ground at the first home game of the season. So considering that, it seemed like everyone got in on time. I mean, most people seemed to even be in for when Concert came out before the game, which was good. That also helped with the atmosphere, get the atmosphere going. And, you know, first home game after winning the league, you don't need much excuse. Friday night, people have had a couple of beers, hopefully, or, you know, they're going to go to the pub after. Don't need much excuse. Thought the atmosphere was great, yeah.
yeah, no, agree. There were two players that didn't naturally come up. One of them I wanted to try keep for this section, which I succeeded in. The other was Raya. Like, yeah, we
Yeah.
don't need to say anything about him. But yeah, you brought the other one up there, and Conso was obviously announced, presented on the day and stuff. But yeah, Mosquera, turning attention to Villa again. Appreciate his days away. Like, who knows who Villa will sign by then? But it's more just like at a very high level. Like, do you think Conser will come in for Mosquera at Villa? Do you think Mosquera keeps his place? Like, how are you kind of feeling going to Villa Park based on kind of where they're at, their result on the weekend, all of
I
that
mean,
stuff?
it's looking like a great
Also,
time
are
to
you
play
going?
Villa. Obviously, they've had a lot of players leaving. It looks like Martinez might be going to Chelsea as well. Ollie Watkins, don't know what's going on with him, but again, he might not play on Monday. So it could be a fantastic time to go up there. It's not an easy place to go usually.
Are you actually going?
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's good to get up there when they've been weakened and they're in a bit of disarray. It looks like. I mean, I watched bits of the Brighton Villa game and it looked like I think the only thing that kept Brighton from honestly winning about 8-0 was the fact that they've got that second leg of their Conference League playoff.
I didn't actually watch it. What was it? Was it like deserved 4-0?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, Brighton could have won. As I say, they could have easily scored 7. This sounds ridiculous, but they could have scored 7 or 8 goals if they kept their foot on the accelerator.
Wow.
So, and obviously Villa are going to be at home, which is a big factor for them in our game. But yeah, do I think Consa will come straight in? I'm unsure. I would probably lean to say Mosquera probably start, especially because it's Consa's old club, which adds another level of sort of nervousness to putting a defender in. So yeah, I would say I would predict Mosquera will probably start that game, and then Consa might come in for the Chelsea game.
So I thought that, like, when we signed him and prior to Friday, and I did think Mosquera was fine, to be fair, on Friday.
I thought Mosquera played pretty well, and obviously he did have a couple of ropey games in pre-season, but yeah, I thought he played pretty well on Friday.
The only thing that is making me think there's a chance Consa actually comes in against Villa, despite it being raw and like just coming from there, is what you said about the kind of distribution from the back stuff. Like I do think I'm personally not as high on Mosquera's passing ability as most Arsenal fans seem to be, and I kind of agree a lot with what you said earlier about Gabriel. Like when the kind of onus is on him, I don't think you kind of get that slick fluidity from the back into midfield. So like I can see a world where Consa comes in because of that, but then,
I could definitely see a world in which he starts. I mean, I'd say like I'm like 55-45 that Mosquera starts.
I'm basically the same. It's exactly that. It's like I can see him coming in for those reasons, but then it's like we haven't actually seen him play with Gabriel and White and like that unit. So it's like, is that something that just you see seamlessly in training and get enough of a feeling to do it on a match day? Is that something you need to see? I don't know. I'm the same as you, 55-45.
I'd probably be less inclined. My number for Consa would probably be lower if the game wasn't on Monday night, because I think that gives them quite a few days of training to like put the back fours together and see what it's looking like.
Yeah, agree. And like again, like this is, you can kind of spin this however you want, right? But like the kind of playing against his old club could actually be quite useful for us in the sense of like just kind of tactically knowing certain things and just placing him in there.
Although there's been so much upheaval at Villa, I don't know how much will be accurate at this point.
Yeah, true. But I'd say I'm exactly the same as you, to be honest. 55-45 on it. If you had to put a gun to my head, I would say I would go with, I think he's going to start him, Consa.
Yeah.
And like get him that game ahead of Chelsea, actually, rather than just dropping him in against Chelsea, which feels a bit harsh on Mosquera. But I think
it depends on which game you feel like is a tougher game. I mean, in our heads over the past few years, I feel like Villa away is a game that I would be more nervous for than Chelsea at home. But as it stands right now, I think Chelsea will be a much more difficult game than Villa. So.
Me too, which is why I'm kind of thinking, like, I do wonder, does he just kind of drop him in against Villa, get the work experience in ahead of the Chelsea game? But I'd say right now, again, we're fucking days away from it. I'd say right now, I'd probably hedge my bets and say, I think Consa actually comes in, to be honest. Do you think
I hope he does, because I'd like to see him as soon as possible. But
yeah, same. Do you think there'll be any other changes, or other than that, same 11 or 10?
I would plump for the same 11. I mean, I can see a world in which I think ordinarily, Hincapié might have started Villa away in general, but I think maybe because of the situation that Villa are in, Callum might actually play this one.
I agree. And I also, again, harsh to judge people on cameos, I also thought there was like quite a big difference in quality from Calafiori to Hincapié on Friday anyway.
Yeah,
Again,
I would
very
agree.
harsh
I think I was of this opinion last season as well, to be honest. Hincapié is a very good backup for Cala, but I don't actually think they're on the same level.
agree. I think Hincapié has his uses in like certain games where like you maybe want to prioritize defense first, but like
Yeah.
Calafiori technically and tactically position, he's a fucking unicorn, man. If
Oh,
if
of
he
course,
can
yeah.
stay fit, my God, he'll have an unbelievable season. I think
Yeah.
he's a freak. Right, we will. No, we won't leave it there. But we've got a couple questions, if you don't mind. You good for like another 5 minutes?
Yeah, of course, man.
Cool. We'll rattle off a couple questions, but again, always tricky question being days away. But yeah, Villa away. You kind of said how it used to have this kind of feeling towards it. How are you feeling about going there? And yeah, would you care to give an early score prediction uh, on the assumption that like they don't go and sign like Lionel Messi in the next week
Yeah.
and stuff?
Sure, yeah. I'm pretty confident just based on what I saw of Villa and us in the weekend just gone, and the outgoings over there as well. So I will say if the same Villa team plays against us, I can't see them scoring. So I'm going to plump for 2-0 Arsenal on Monday.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, I'll obviously take that. Be very happy with that. Goal scorers?
Oh, here's a question. Let me go Tzolis for one.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I'm going to go, because they've lost Concert and the keeper and stuff, I'm going to go for a big Gabby bullet header.
Oh, no, I will take that because I opted for Big Gabby instead of White and Calafiori in my FPL team.
Oh.
So I would obviously be very happy with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm in agreement, to be honest. I think 2-0. One question I have got, actually, if you don't mind, is like I said, I didn't actually watch the Brighton Villa game, but like
Yeah.
where did Brighton get joy against them? Like because their team is a shit show, Villa, right? But like where were the kind of areas you think we will get joy, sort of thing?
I feel like if we can press sort of in the area just outside the opposition box whilst they're playing out from the back. So like, I feel like 2 of Brighton's goals came from like pouncing on something just outside the edge of the Villa box whilst they were
Odegaard
playing out from the back.
masterclass then.
So like if we can do like Odegaard, Tzolis coming in, maybe Kai like dropping in and pressing as well, I think we'll get a lot of joy from that. And obviously as well, it'll be even worse for them because João Gomez is suspended. So I think they'll be even worse in that area.
Yeah. Well, I mean, based on that, I'm going for the same score as you. Based on that, I think it'll be 2 open play goals actually. Because also we did take quite a fair few short corners, to be fair.
Yeah, we did.
And yeah, based on that, I think like when we get our high press right, we are like exceptional at it. So like, I can see a goal for like obviously one of the front 4, but like based on what you said, they're like nicking it high. And I will go for I'll go Tzolis and I'll go Havertz again. Actually, I think they'll be the
nice.
2. I don't know
that
which
was kind of my
get.
thought process behind Tzolis. I kind of felt like maybe Odegaard or Havertz would nick it, and then Tzolis would make the run and we'd score.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, jealous you're going. Have a great one. We'll rattle off some of the comments and questions that were in during the show. So yeah, cheers everyone for joining. And yeah, Charles, thanks for all your comments. We'll get some. We'll get to him now. But he says Aston Villa have struck an agreement with Chelsea to sign Nicholas Jackson. So okay, so they didn't sign Messi, but they've got Jackson in the week.
I mean, it's better than I think they played like Buendia up front nominally on Sunday. He's a good player, but yeah, Jackson is someone to worry about. I know he's a sort of on and off player, but he can have a good game on his day. So they've definitely strengthened there.
Yeah, I think he's someone that like you said with Buendia, right? Like there's just no outlook for them, whereas at least Jackson will kind of run the channels and stuff and give them an outlet. So yeah, and cheers for sharing that, Charles. It says this is I don't know if I haven't read ahead to see if this is a question or a comment, so I'm just going to kind of read it out word for word. Says Zubamendi is a highly prized asset in Spain. Keeping him as a backup is tough. Is it the wrong investment then by the club when he goes out of favour in not even just half a season? What do you reckon?
I would say that I can see why you may think that, and to be honest, I'm going to be. I don't think I rate Zubimendi as highly as a lot of Arsenal fans do, to be
Fair.
honest. But I think he was like 51 million or something like that, which actually in today's market isn't a massive investment. We've got play. I mean, Madueke cost that much, if not more, and he's definitely a backup. So I wouldn't be worried about the sort of investment of money. What I would obviously be worried about is that he's not. I agree that he's not going to stay as a backup for multiple seasons because he wants to get back in that Spain team. Big clubs in Spain will be looking at him. I can see him being moved on probably next summer for the fee that we paid for him, roughly.
I am basically in complete agreement. Only thing is, I am actually a big fan of his.
Look, he played really well in the first half of last season, but
yeah,
I'm not sure he's fully suited to the Prem.
yeah, fair. I think he is, depending on like kind of the system and structure around him. But I just think with us, like the way we're evolving does feel like we're kind of moving beyond that, even in such a short period of time. So
Yeah.
I don't know. There was talks of Real Madrid coming in for him because they missed Rodri, right? Like if that is the case, and like Real Madrid are actually putting in a bid, I don't see a world in where he's like, no, I want to stay at Arsenal to be a rotation option. But
No, I'd
like,
be surprised. And if we can, again with the investment thing, I think the good thing about him is he's going to retain his value. I don't think he's going to be sold for less than he was bought for. So that's not really a big worry for me.
agree, and like I would argue the opposite. I think it was a fucking fantastic investment because me personally, I think that first half of the season last year, I thought he was exceptional, and I think he was personally. I was going to say failed by the manager and the club. That's harsh. I just can't think of another way to say it other than I think he was overplayed. And
Oh,
like
for sure, 100%.
I think the second half of the season and his struggles was down to that more than him personally. Like I think if he was managed differently, I think he would have lasted the course.
Yeah, but that's
So
kind of what I mean about the fact that I don't think he's suited to the Prem. I don't think he can
yeah,
crack
the
away like 50 plus
durability.
games. And if you want to be one of the best players at this club, you need to be playing the majority of games, starting. Look at Declan Rice. Look, Saka when he's fit. Saliba, Gabriel when they're fit. Like if you want to be a top player at the club, you have to be playing the majority of games. I mean, the best. It's what people always say, right? Like the best two examples of this are the best players in the last 20 years in Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. They're always available and they always
Yeah.
play. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The schedule is demanding, but you've got to be able to handle it.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like I kind of have like Rice and Bruno in tier one and Zubamendi kind of tier two, but like
Yeah.
as a tier two player, like I don't know, on the concept of like him as a backup, I don't think unless Real Madrid come in for him, I personally don't see him pushing to go anywhere
No, I
else.
agree with that.
Like, and like I think that's like a very useful player with a different skill set to a Rice and a Bruno that is good to have around, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I'm more than happy to keep him, but as was alluded to in the comment, if he really, really got the hump about being on the bench, then you
Yeah,
would
then
have
I
to
don't
start
think we
looking
can
at
keep.
solutions.
Yeah, I think if he gets the hump with it, then yeah,
Yeah,
he's kind of
it's just
within
something
his
to keep
right
an
to
eye
go.
on, right?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I do think though, I, unless Real Madrid come in for him this window, I think he'll stay the season. But then, like you, I can see him being moved on next year, and also
Yeah, I
agree. Like
can't
I
see him
don't
leaving this summer or even in January.
know,
But yeah,
and I don't think we'll lose any money on him. So I would argue it was actually a very good investment
yeah, I
personally.
would go. It's at least at worst, it's a neutral investment. At absolute
Yeah.
worst.
And the final one before we get out of here was yeah, Charles asking for any thoughts on the PFA Player of the Year. He says when Rodri can get the golden ball without goals and assists, and City players get the Player of the Year in past seasons, except Haaland per se. What single I'm having a brain malfunction on the last bit. What single out our players for not?
What singles out our players for not
Oh,
getting goals and assists?
yeah. Any thoughts?
Uh, it's a good question. I don't want to sit here and do the classic trope of like, oh, everyone's biased against us, blah blah blah. Even though it is true to a certain extent, but it's just boring. I'd say, I guess Rodri, when you're winning leagues multiple times in a row, it kind of just builds up that like goodwill and people thinking of you in a positive light. And like, I do think it's more of our players probably should have been acknowledged and to a higher level. Like, it's rare that a player wins the top honor without winning the league. I don't think that Bruno Fernandes should have won because, in my opinion, I know he broke the assist record, but I feel like he was trying to specifically break the assist record, i.e., he was like passing when he should have been shooting and stuff. And I feel like that was really sort of almost selfish from him, in a way of like, I think maybe he actually cost his team some goals, which for me is not really like what a top player should be doing. But yeah, more of our, as you say, like, people are singling out our players for not getting the goals and assists numbers, the pure numbers. These are sort of unquantifiables, right? But a lot of it's dictated by the media as well. Like, and there's a real like northwest bias in the media in this country, which doesn't help us.
Yeah, I think that will change this season. I've always been a person in the like just don't give people a reason to have a narrative. So you remember that season where we were winning like from January to March, like 5-0, 6-0, this, that,
Yeah,
like no one was saying shit about us then. And I have a
no,
feeling
exactly.
it will be similar this year. So like, yeah, I personally I don't really give a shit about it, if I'm honest.
I can't say it's something that I really interacted with much, but yeah, that would be my opinion on it if you push me.
Yeah, I'm not losing any sleep. But I think the one thing that is worth shouting out from that is Saliba, right? Being in it in the team of the season. Was it 4 years on the trot? Like
Yeah, absolute
I think
phenomenon.
I read, was that like never been done before, or just for a
I
defender
believe
or
so,
something?
based on what I saw. Yeah, which is
Yeah,
great longevity already at a young age. So
yeah. But yeah, we will leave it there. But one thing I'm confident in, if and hopefully when we win the league this year, I do think it's going to be one of our boys getting that next the player of the year thing. Because
yeah,
yeah, I think if and again when we do it, I think we'll do it in style this year. I think some of the football will be a lot more fluid and easy on the eye than last
I mean,
season.
to be
And
honest,
yeah,
I'm surprised. Like, obviously, a lot of these decisions are made with English bias, and like I would have thought Declan Rice would have been a shoe in the year we won the league. Finally, I assumed that Declan Rice would probably win. But add the two things together. But yeah,
yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, I think one of our boys will hopefully get it next year. But yeah, Finn, pleasure as always.
thanks for having me
Cheers
on,
for jumping
Clayton.
on. Hope you enjoy Monday at Villa Park.
Yeah,
I
I'll try
was
my best.
I'm flipping back down to 9 credits now after they do the removal thing. So
Oh no, yeah, it's
I'm
probably the worst number to be on.
I know. Well, Sunderland went down to 5, but like I was on the basket, and like I think
Yeah,
from
nine or
apparently that
15 are like the most annoying numbers to be on. I think.
yeah, there was like 500 available.
Yeah.
200, sorry, apparently. So yeah, I will. Well, Carabao Cup draws tonight. We'll see. Hopefully, for me,
Oh yeah, of
hopefully it's
course. Yeah.
a nice away in the middle of fucking nowhere, so it goes
And we've
down
got
to
the
0. So
Champions League draw tomorrow.
yeah, so yeah, like I said on the last pod, Mike and I are I can only commit to one a week,
Yeah,
unfortunately anymore. So yeah, it's a bit of a longer one, hence changing the name from Bite Size. But yeah, I think on next week's one, we'll probably do it Tuesday or Wednesday evening. I'll see what Mike's saying when he's back from his holiday. But
nice.
yeah, that will be Villa review. I think is the transfer window closing? that's Monday,
Yeah,
right?
it will
So
be. It must be Tuesday, right?
oh, okay. Oh, maybe I'll time
That's
it
my
around then.
assumption.
Then.
I don't know for sure, but
Yeah. So yeah, I'll check with Uncle Mike and see if we can do one. Yeah, after the transfer window, then, so we can do a Villa review, transfer window recap,
yeah, good idea.
and yeah, I guess that will then be looking ahead to Chelsea as well. But yeah, yeah, and obviously we'll kind of cover off the Carabao Cup and Champions League draw as well. But yeah, Finn, pleasure as always. Cheers for jumping on.
Cheers, Clayton.
We will, yeah, Charles, thanks for staying in the chat for so long, mate. Hope you're having a good week, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Up the Arsenal.